So it looks like Margot Robbie's Barbie might become the biggest movie of the year. Now, I don't know what the international numbers are for this movie. That's a big question because it needs international numbers to make more money than Mario, which if this movie outgrosses Mario, I will be shocked. But, you know, with these opening weekends anymore, you really need to see the second and third weekends because we've seen so many movies come out with big opening weekends and then they fall on their face the next week. Ant-Man is a great example of that. Because remember when Ant-Man came out? All the big Marvel shills were like, it's amazing. Marvel's not dead. And then that movie fell on its face. Fell right on its face the next weekend. So we'll have to wait and see, but you know, maybe this movie will have legs. I know Margot Robbie's got some nice ones, but the movie's got to have legs too. So let me read you this update. Friday midday, Warner Brothers Barbie is eyeing $68.70 million today. That's just for the Friday, including last night's previews, which shaping up to be the best opening of the year with $150 million at 4,243 theaters. That would beat the 3-day of Super Mario Brothers, $146.3 million. Some rivals see it higher, like $165 through $175 million, but it's still too early, and everyone is getting excited. Remember, female skewing movies are very front-loaded. Remember a movie called Twilight? That's a really good point. And this is a very female-centric movie. And I don't mean that in just the source material. I mean that in the demographics of people going to see it. I think they have it in this article where they break it down. Okay, this isn't that article, but there is an article where they break down the demographics. Oh, here it is. 79% recommended, 82. This is from Rotten Tomatoes, though. I have a problem with Rotten Tomatoes and their 90% audience score for this movie because if you go to Metacritic, it's not quite so high, is it? So maybe there's some shenanigans going on with Rotten Tomatoes, which happens, especially with Warner Brothers movies. Because I believe Warner has a stake in Rotten Tomatoes. So if you take a look at this, there should be a number in here. Okay, yeah, this isn't the same demographic. There is stats out there saying that the audience for this movie is like 70-something% women. 70% something women. Moms showing up with kids, 79%. So you got a lot of moms going out to see this movie. You got a lot of women going out to see this movie. So how will this movie perform next weekend? That's the real big question. But if it tracks like it is right now, it'll be pretty good. So remember female skewing movies like Twilight. Universal's Oppenheimer is certainly not getting scraps. It's headed for $32 million today, including previews, and a $75 million 3-day at 3,610 theaters. That's higher than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So big weekend, $225 million alone this weekend between those two movies. And also Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, despite losing some IMAX, isn't taking a horrible hit. It only dropped 54% in weekend 2. That's good. So that means this movie probably will have legs. So Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning will probably end up making at least its money back. I think that movie has problems in the fact that it's a part 1 and it's still like 2.5 hours long. When you make 2 movies, do they both need to be almost 3 hours apiece? I think that is a fair criticism. I think you just needed a good editor on that script, to be honest. But I liked the action in that movie, but man, the plot in that movie, it needs some work. A Sound of Freedom, doing really good. Now about to hit 124 million, shattering my estimate of 100 million. I was, I guess, a little conservative on that. I think it could end up maybe, I don't know, is 200 million out of the question for that movie, which would be crazy. Dial of Destiny is dead. 7 million. Yikes. Yikes, what a disaster. So that's where we're at. Of course, the success of Barbie, not good enough for some people, should have been more gay. According to NBC News, should have been more gay. Why weren't you going hard enough there? So people are not happy, despite the movie's extreme progressive message, like where the little girls are smashing baby doll heads and saying that they don't want to be mothers. So there's that. Then there's also these weirdos that are very, very upset about Oppenheimer. Just saw Oppenheimer, an in-depth character exploration of the people who built the atomic bomb, a weapon of mass destruction that killed 250,000 Japanese civilians. Film is 3 hours long and features 0 Japanese people. I'm not stupid. I understand the film and its takeaways, panning into the world of science, geopolitics, and its lack of ethics was fascinating. It was brilliantly acted, just couldn't get over the erasure of the human beings most affected by the main focus of the film. A couple things on this. Number one, what is with this narrative all the time to make Japan a victim of World War II? Now listen, I love Japan. I love current Japan. The Japan since the 80s that, they've made the world's electronics market. And they've also made some great entertainment. No problem with today's Japan. But World War II Japan was a lot of nasty people. They did nasty things during the war. Don't ever forget that. They also bombed America. Okay. And they were great buddies with Nazis. The real ones. They sided with them. So don't sit here and act like they're victims in all this. Okay? The action had a consequence. So I think that this is wild. How many people did they kill? Ruthlessly, by the way. So don't try to paint World War II Japan as some kind of victim culture. I'll never understand this, and it happens all the time. Like America needs to get down on its knees and beg for forgiveness. That action that they did ended the war. How many more people would have been lost on both sides if that hadn't been done? Because if you go back and you look at the historical reports, Japan was getting ready to dig in and go all out, knowing that they were going to lose if they were invaded. So, it's easy to make a shitty little tweet on Twitter and get a bunch of likes. But you and I both know you're not being realistic here. And I think it's stupid to try to paint World War II Imperial Japan as some kind of victim. It's so funny to me. I knew they were going to call this movie racist. Where were you supposed to put the Japanese people in this movie? Where were you supposed to do that? Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here. I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.